John, in just a few minutes, a woman I've been looking to interview for 5 years, Amanda Peet, is going to come on.
Oh, my goodness.
She came on in the first year of the show.
Oh, yeah.
And she was one of the early interviews that I went, oh, that's how you do this. That's fun. Have fun with your guest.
Yes.
And I've been waiting to have, she's been avoiding me for 5 years, is what I'm saying.
I think it's going to
I hope it goes well.
I think it's going to go well.
I hope she doesn't ask me to slide into anything.
Hey.
After that, soccer aficionado and lover of America, Roger Bennett, will be here. But right now, joining us from Kabul, Afghanistan, is CNN's chief international correspondent, Clarissa Ward. Clarissa, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What time is it in Kabul right now?
It's really, really late, but I'm so sleep deprived that I honestly can't even tell you what time it is. It's not my last live shot yet, so my night is still going on even after this.
All right, I'll try not to tax you too much in the next few minutes because I know you've got some more work to do. How long have you been in Afghanistan on this particular trip?
On this trip, it's been just over 2 weeks.
And you have been with the Taliban for some of that, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Quite a lot of it.
What's it like? What was it like in Kabul as the Taliban came in to take over the city? What was it like on the ground there?
It was absolutely stunning shock, honestly. 3 days earlier, I had heard intelligence officials were saying potentially the city could be surrounded in 30 days, and I said that was hyperbole. And then suddenly, there we were. They were outside the gate. And then a couple of hours later, they were inside the city. And then by the night, they'd established checkpoints everywhere. And we woke up in the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, forever changed.
You say it was a shock to you. It was certainly, as the administration has said, it surprised them. Were the Taliban that you were with, were they surprised how quickly Kabul fell?
It's funny you should ask that because I did talk about this a lot with Taliban fighters, and they have been surprised just by the speed with which they've been able to just go through all these different cities, often without a shot fired, Stephen, and Afghan forces just melting away. We drove past a checkpoint on our way into Taliban territory about a week ago, and we saw Afghan forces running down the hill from this base, hailing down a civilian car, and just booking it out because they didn't have the appetite to fight. They knew they were getting beaten, and they weren't interested in fighting to the death.
What are things like on the streets of Kabul, say, today?
Today it was interesting because you definitely saw a lot more people back on the streets. I was in a busy market. I'd say like half of the stores were open. We visited a burqa store, a man selling burqas, which is the all-covering garment that was mandated by the Taliban. He told me he was doing very swift business at the moment because women are so frightened now that the Taliban is here that they're all going out and buying burqas. But I got to tell you, Stephen, the one thing that was so striking, it's like, okay, life looks kind of normal. And then you look closely and you're like, where are all the women? There's no women on the streets.
Where are they?
Very few.
Hiding?
I mean, they're hiding, they're at home. And you know, what's interesting, it's not even that the Taliban has said women should not be out on the streets, but it's just that people have this memory of the late 90s and the early 2000s, and even more recently in some territory that the Taliban has been able to take in rural areas. And so they're voluntarily not going out because they're frightened, because they don't want to run into problems. I spoke to one woman who said her sister went out to buy milk, and the grocery store guy was like, you really should be doing your hijab differently. You should be doing your hijab, your covering more appropriately. Now, the Taliban didn't tell him to say that, but immediately you start to see it, Stephen. People's attitudes start changing because they think that's what's required or that's what's desired by the new ruling power.
So much of the population there is, I think, under 25 years old. Is there a memory generally of what the last Taliban regime was like?
The under 20s, obviously don't have really a memory. They associate the Taliban more with an insurgency. I don't know if you can hear that plane overhead. There's US planes going back and forth the whole time, evacuating people. So they associate the Taliban with this bloody, ugly, decades long insurgency. And the Taliban spokesperson gave a press conference today for the first time in person. And it was amazing to see these Afghan journalists stand up. They were not pulling any punches. Mujahid, this Taliban spokesperson, he said, we've issued a blanket amnesty. Everyone will be forgiven. And this Afghan journalist stood up and said, but will we forgive you for all the people you killed, all the civilians who died in those car bombs? And I thought to myself, my goodness, the extraordinary courage and tenacity of this younger generation of journalists. The Taliban remains to be seen whether or not they have changed, but the Afghan people have changed, and they are going to stand up for what they believe in.
What about those Afghans who helped the Americans? There's some 70 to 80,000 that I've seen people talk about who want to get out, or at least a large percentage of those want to get out of Afghanistan. Have you heard anything new from American forces or American officials over in Afghanistan about how that might be achieved, and will they stay long enough to get everybody out who is afraid of these reprisals?
I pushed Admiral John Kirby on this, the Pentagon spokesperson, earlier today. And the bottom line is no. I tried to extract. I said, please, I'm the one here on the ground, the American in Kabul, who has to look these people in the eye when they're asking me, please, can America help get us out? We worked for the Americans for 10 years and now we're getting death threats. And can you give us an assurance that all these people will get out? And the reality is there is no assurance. They're trying to expedite the process. They're trying to, reduce some of the bureaucracy that is making it so difficult, taking some people years to get their civ, their visa that would allow them to go to the US. But there is no easy, quick answer. And so many people here, I can't even tell you, Stephen, my phone is ringing nonstop. So many people feel abandoned. They feel they've been cast aside, and they're deeply fearful, and they're full of bitterness.
My understanding is that before they took Kabul, the Taliban had secured the border crossings into neighboring countries. Is there a sense that once the United States leaves, that they won't allow any of these people to leave the country, that they'll basically lock everyone in?
I don't think there's a sense of that yet. I mean, the Taliban has definitely said, please don't leave, because they're aware from a public relations perspective that these images of this crush of humanity desperately clinging to the fuselage of US Air Force carriers trying to get out of the country, they're aware that that looks really bad for them. And they're trying in this moment to signal that they are a different type of Taliban, that they can govern, that they're more diplomatic. And so obviously they don't want scenes on the ground that directly counter that narrative. I don't have the sense yet that they're going to directly ban people from leaving, but obviously that's the great fear. And the other great fear is that once the Americans pack up and lift up the drawbridge, how do they then, Afghan people who've worked with the US, how do they facilitate that paperwork? How do they make sure that they get that document in? Who can they speak to? These people thought they had more time, Stephen, to prepare for this moment. They thought maybe they had months. Instead, it was hours.
Well, I know you've got to go, but I want to ask you one last question, is that the people on the streets of Kabul or around Afghanistan, not the Taliban who've come in, but the people who have been living with the Americans and the American presence there for the last 20 years, what do they think of the American withdrawal and of Americans now?
I think this is a really important point to clarify. The Afghans that I've spoken to do not blame America for withdrawing from Afghanistan. They did not expect America to continue to fight another country's war for decades more. And they understand fully that Afghan people must assume responsibility of their own country. Where the bitterness, where the sadness, where the fear comes from is the manner in which this withdrawal was executed. The chaos of it, the hurried nature of it, the fact that more concessions weren't extracted from the Taliban during those negotiations. That's where the heartache comes from. That's where the bitterness comes from. And that's where the rage comes from.
Well, Clarissa, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. Her new book, On All Fronts, is available now. Clarissa Ward, everybody. We'll be right back with Amanda Peet.